Hello everyone, Amy here from Natural Balance Therapy, and I wanted to go through one of our most functional activities that we do on a daily basis. All of us every single day have to get up and out of a chair as well as up and off of a toilet. So this is one of those activities that is so critical and so important to know how to do appropriately, especially those of us that are struggling with back pain, hip pain, and or knee pain. I found over the years that when people have gone through these, especially when they're going to get out of a chair, it can be really uncomfortable for them. So their body has learned how to compensate and to do a different technique to get out. And a lot of times the muscles start to not work as effectively. And so I want to go back to the basics and teach you the steps on how to safely and effectively get up and out of a chair, especially as we age. This is so important for our elderly population, to help them, one, to get up and off the toilet. It also becomes useful for those individuals that may fall, to help them get up off the floor. I'm going to also encourage that one of the exercises that we went through a while back, and I'm going to post a link to it in the comments when I'm done today, is to learn how to do squats effectively. By doing squats, it really enhances and makes this technique so much easier, because we are going to be stronger through our legs, through our hips, our glutes. So it's one of the most functional exercises that I encourage for people to do. So give that a try as well. But today we're going to do how to get up and out of a chair effectively. So all you're going to need is a chair. So one of the things that I find a lot of times that individuals do, especially when they've had, like I said, the back pain, knee pain, hip pain, is they tend to thrust themselves out of the chair, which can be very compromising on the back and other areas, the neck. So we want to make sure that we're learning how to use our strongest muscles to get us out of the chair, which are going to be our legs, our hips, our glutes. And so I'm going to take you through step by step how to do that. When you're sitting in a chair, most of us are sitting back in a chair. So the number one thing that we want is we want to be just aware of our foot position. We want our feet flat on the floor, but we also want our feet about hip width apart. This is going to provide us a nice stable platform to be able to push off of. And then before we go to get out of the chair, we want to also make sure that our knees are not buckled in. And I'm going to do this facing you as well as to the side so you can see it. But we want to make sure that our knees are in line with our hips. So when we go to get out of the chair, we want to allow ourselves to scooch to the edge of the chair. Don't try to get up from here, because you're not going to have the strength, you're not going to have the power, and that's where we're really going to thrust ourselves up to get out of the chair. Or a lot of people will rely on pushing through their arms, which is a lot weaker. We want to rely on those legs, those hips, and those glutes. So you're going to scooch forward in the chair. And what this does is this is going to create a little bit of a backward angle where my feet are just behind my knees, which is going to allow us to be in a little bit stronger of a position. And right before you go to get up, you're going to shift your weight forward. This is also going to prep you to get that weight over the feet, to get you in the position to be able to press into those feet to get you up out of the chair. Now, the most important thing, and one of the hardest parts for most people, is feeling the connection of their feet into the ground. I want you to be pushing and pressing into the ground to help you get up out of the chair. So again, we're going to shift forward, shift our weight forward, and then we're going to press our feet into the ground, pushing us up to get up out of the chair. And then when we go back, we're going to bring our butt back, bring us down into the chair, nice and slow and controlled. One of the things that we see a lot of times with people, especially when they have pain or discomforts getting into the chair, is they just kind of flop down in it. I want you to really be controlling your momentum down into the chair. So the other concept that I'm going to bring into this is I always want people, when they're going to press up, to always be blowing out and exhaling. We call it blow before you go. So you always want to be blowing like you're blowing bubbles. So So what that's going to look like is I'm going to scooch forward in the chair, connecting my feet flat into the ground, shifting my weight forward. I'm going to inhale, and then I'm going to blow out right before I press to get myself back up, and then inhale on the way back down. I'm going to show you what that looks like from the front. Again, you guys, you want to make sure your hips and feet are about hip width apart to give you a wide base of support. You don't want your knees coming in and trying to press up from there. You want those knees over your feet in line with the hips. You're going to scooch forward. You're going to shift your weight forward, blow, press your feet into the ground, and bring yourself back up. Now the other things, this is going to be, if you've never done this before, this will be challenging for a lot of you to do because you may not have that concept of utilizing your hamstrings and your glutes to push you up off of the chair. So it is okay to use the armrest when you're first learning. I don't want you to rely on it and push all of your weight into it because that's going to compromise your shoulders. So when we're first learning, use that as support to just give yourself a little bit of a pressure to get you up out of that chair. This is the safest and most effective way to get up out of a chair. I've had people immediately that have knee or hip pain or back pain resolve it by doing this technique correctly. So I hope that you guys can find this useful.